Hello there everyone, this is Big Benedict. Thanks for rejoining me on my campaign. Hell, I'll call it our campaign because that's what it is. It's a community of users watching the same content, and that is excellent. So the first thing we're doing here is I'm going to show you guys how to do this particular takedown. It's X plus O. It's kind of an odd button combination to press, but you could get it. In the last video I was mentioning how do you actually do that move. It's pretty simple. Anytime there is one or more enemies prone and lying on the ground, you can do that takedown. What actually ends up happening though is you'll waste it if there's any enemies on their feet and you're doing it. So this is the video entitled GCPD to the sewers. So we're actually going into the sewers, and it's a pretty fun chapter. I enjoy it. A couple of tough fights. I do have one clip of footage of me just running around this entire city and accessing the map a lot to try to find out where the sewer location is, because I don't like that there's no, it doesn't tell you how many meters you have left when you're traveling on foot or in the sky. So I had to constantly look at my map. So what I did was I squeezed the footage together in a fast forward clip. So it'll come pretty soon, but don't worry about it. All you need to do though is just look on the map and then just have the arrow point to the direction you want to go. Just line it up correctly. I mean, the waypoint is pretty good, but the thing about that is if you don't know how many meters you have left, you could end up going past the waypoint objective, not even knowing that you might have passed it. Because I think in Arkham City, every time you're going to a new area, it would say, you know, how many meters do you have left to go? And when it got down to 0, that meant that there would be no more traveling anywhere. You know, wherever you ended up, that's where the location was going to be, somewhere where you're located at 0. Because you could keep flying around towards the waypoint in this game, never knowing that you've already gone past it. And I think it might have even had negative numbers too in the old games when you're going beyond it. But don't quote me on that. I'm not a Batman aficionado, but I just I'm a fan. I'm a definite fan of this whole series because its combat is unrivaled. The atmosphere is just so incredibly immersive. But this point over here, I was just looking for where the sewer was. Pretty much that's all I was doing here. Here I'm pulling up my map, and I had no idea where the sewer was because I haven't played this game to its completion yet, and I just hope and pray that I don't get another glitch. So what I've been doing is just turning off my console at regular intervals and always trying to find out when they're going to have a patch. So I think we might have one stealth section coming up over here somewhere. But if not, it was because I already slayed these guys over here. Yeah, we're not going to have a stealth section. Sorry about that. Here's a sewer entrance right there. Now everything's going to be back to normal speed. So just slide under here, and we're going to be facing our first martial artist down here. Here he is right here. And unfortunately you can't do the ground takedown on this guy before these guys clobber you. I mean, you might be able to get away with it in some manner, but these martial artists, there's no tutorial about them. This is the first time we're experiencing these guys in hard mode. On New Game Plus, I have seen people playing on a New Game Plus, and there are martial artists before this. So, but if you're playing it on hard, this is your first time you're seeing these guys, and it was the first time I'm seeing them. So what they like to do is when they have the counter icon over their head, you counter, but it doesn't often counter. Most of the times, nothing will happen, and you get really out of the rhythm of the fight. But there is another. I think there is a dedicated way to kill them if they have the counter. If they're trying to attack you and it's flashing, then it's a counter. If the triangle is flashing, then pressing that will subdue them. They don't get killed, but it'll subdue them. They're not too problematic. It's just that they They kind of bother the flow of the combat. But these guys are hard. Black masks, the black mask enemies. What did it say there? Counter twice. You may want to look into that. But that's kind of a letdown. No little tutorial about it. I'm sure I could look and find one somewhere. But I mean, why should I have to? This is a game I should have. It should tell me about these guys. Seriously, it didn't. There's no explanation about them. So the only way I know even how to explain them is off of experience and having seen other people's guides for this game. So this chapter is not too long, and I actually like this chapter. It's pretty good. It's got some. I like the environments. Even though, you know, it doesn't have much, you know, thinking about it, it doesn't have very much lucrative prospects. It's just a sewer, so it could have had a lot of dull browns and stuff like that, and it does, but anyway, so we're going to do a ledge takedown on this guy, and this guy ends up, did you hear him? I stopped speaking for a moment because I wanted to see if you could hear him scream. He does scream, and it does alert this guy. But that guy just stands over there taunting you. Now, when you come out of the fight, you're going to want to use your grappling hook and then sidle over here off the railing. And the checkpoint is right over here, actually. Damn Steam. Okay, the checkpoint is right here. So just run up to the control console, and then it's going to deactivate some of these steam jets so you can actually start moving around. So grapple that. Pull that off. That's going to cause the steam to cease, and then you can use the remote claw to have a zipline wire over there. So you jump on it with R1, and then this is an automatic not a cutscene, but it's a scripted event right here. So once you get on in here, you're going to use your sequencer, and it's kind of hard to get over to the next area, so you're going to see a pretty rapid cut. But if you fall down, don't worry. You might lose some health. That's all it is. So just fly on down to this guy here. There might be some more routine method of getting down there, maybe using the zip wire. But I did fall once, and then it landed me in an area where I could just swoop over to him. So there's one more hard fight in this chapter, and it's coming up right over here. But it's not really too hard. Oh, excuse me. There are two fights, one of which is a little bit harder than the other. This next fight, though, isn't too bad. But the good thing about this fight here, see, swoop in on the martial artist, do the glide kick on him, and then there is ample time to do the ground takedown. So this guy can be completely taken out of the equation here. But make sure you're countering when you come out of that ground takedown. So it's just really nice to get that guy out of the way since he's a problem, and to also get that guy. That was really nice. Now, that really isn't too much of luck or having really good circumstances in your favor, because as long as you're moving the left analog stick towards the person whom you want to target, the game is pretty fucking good about making sure it's getting the guy you want. Now, obviously, if there's 30 guys in the room, it might be a little bit harder to target whom you want. But in a room like this, where there's only, 5 guys, you're more than likely going to target the correct guy. So, there was one little minor glitch that happened over here when I was hitting hitting that bell, or the button to activate the lift. One of the checkpoints after this is right over here. So every time you do the final fight, it's going to checkpoint you right in front of the button. So you've got to press the button and ride the gate up every single time. It's going to be in fast forward. But what happened to me one time was that the elevator went up, and then I fell through the elevator like there was no surface, and I was in like a limbo status again in the sewer. So I restarted the checkpoint, and unfortunately the game corrected itself. But God, just come on. Anyway, as you can see, a few chapters back, I think maybe in chapter 9, I was recommending that on these tall, really beefy guys, what you want to do is do the cape stun and then rapidly tap the square button and then build up your combo meter to whatever is going to get you the iframes takedown. But doing that iframes takedown on these martial artists, really, it doesn't really work. It may stun them, but it's not going to take them out, so you might want to target somebody else, honestly. So, other than that, these guys, the tall guys, you really don't even want to mess around with cape stunning when they have the red lines over them, because that just pretty much means just get away from them until they're done swinging. And this fight's fairly challenging, but yet again, it's just annoying to have to start at the elevator lift every time you die or restart from the checkpoint. So there we go, we're going to take that guy out, get a cutscene after we interact with the computer, and we learn who was the real murderer at the crime scene at Lacey Towers. And I'm not even going to refer to it. I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, why spoil it for no reason? This is a guide. But anyway, now we're exiting the sewer. Just jump up the ladder, and we're going to proceed with our guide.